Good evening, everyone. Hope you're all well.
Hi, everyone. Good evening.
Welcome to this evening's 4 to 5 webinar on a very nice topic, something we can't do much of at the moment, but hopefully later in the year this will be more relevant. In the meantime, it's nice to dream about it. So we should introduce ourselves for those of you watching who don't know us. So I'm Danielle and I'm Australian and I've been living in Milan for about 18 months. Okay, and I'm a teacher at Meravigli, which is one of the 3 schools in Milan. Okay.
And I am Sean. I am Irish. I come from the west of Ireland. I have been in the same school as Danielle, Via Meravigli, since September, teaching there. I see we have a few people watching. Please, what are your names? Where do you come from? Let us know.
Yeah, tell us who you are. And we want to make this webinar as interactive as possible. Okay, so please answer the questions and send us a message to ask any questions that you have. Okay, this is for you.
Yes.
So the topic is a travel guide, right? A guide for your holidays, for all of your adventures, either in Italy or overseas, or in Spain or France, if you've got some students watching from our schools in those countries. And specifically, so in some detail, what we look at today is the impersonal you, right? So how we use you in English. There are 2 ways that we use it, okay? We also look at some simple modal verbs, all right? These here are they're important words in English. And so you're going to start looking at them tonight, okay? And we also look at giving advice. So if you think it's a good idea that someone does something, you give them advice. So we look at different ways to do that. Okay, we've got some people watching. Very good. Diana.
Yes. Hello, Diana. Where do you come from? Please tell us. And Juliana from Brazil, but I live in Milan for 22 years. I've lived in Milan for 22 years. Great.
Very good, Juliana. Great. Nice to hear from you. Okay. So to start tonight, we have some tourism trivia. So some questions which you must guess if they're true or false. All right. So Sean, do you want to read the questions for us?
Sure. So London has more international tourists than any other city in the world. New York has more skyscrapers than Hong Kong. A Frenchman built the Statue of Liberty. We can see the Great Wall of China from the moon.
Okay. So it's not important that you get these questions correct because it's not about English, but it's it's got some interesting words in here. All right. So London has more, so a greater number of international tourists than other cities. What do you think about this, Sean? Do you think it's true or false?
I'm not sure. I have never been in London. You spent some time in London, didn't you, Danielle? Were there many tourists?
Yeah, there were lots of tourists. I used to live there and it was always full of tourists. But I don't know if there's more tourists there than anywhere else in the world. I think,
Mm.
yeah, my answer is true. Tell us at home if you think it's true or false as well for all of the questions. What about you, Sean? What's your guess? True or false?
I mean, I think somewhere like Paris would have more tourists. No, I'm going to say false. Keep it
Okay.
interesting.
Yeah. Let's see. True. Okay. That was a guess.
So,
Okay. What about the next one? New York has more skyscrapers than Hong Kong. Okay. So, skyscrapers. This is an interesting word. Does anyone know what a skyscraper is? If not, Sean, do you want to explain?
yes, so it's in the name, a building that is so tall, it's scraping the sky. To scrape is to kind of touch with your nails. So it's really, really tall buildings, more than 50, 60 stories, this kind of height. Yes. So New York is very famous for having its skyscrapers, Empire State Building, all of those monuments. But I think maybe they have more in Hong Kong because I think in China everybody lives in very high-rise buildings, whereas in the suburbs of New York everybody lives in low-rise housing.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's more in Hong Kong. Okay. Well, here we go. So Juliana has an answer. I don't think so. Maybe Hong Kong has more skyscrapers. Perfect. That was very perfect accuracy. Excellent. So you agree with Sean and I. All right, let's see. See what the yes, we're correct. Excellent. So Hong Kong has more. Also, so Juliana, let's look at your previous answer. London is a great city, but another cities are great. No, very good. Was one little thing, we'd say other cities. Okay, so not with an. So other cities are great too. Okay, so the next question. A French man built the Statue of Liberty. So obviously the Statue of Liberty is in New York. All right. Does anyone know the answer to this one? Sean, do you want to take a
Yeah.
guess?
I know I like history a lot, and I know that the French
Yeah.
gave it to New York as a present. But
Yes.
I've never been to New York. I've never seen it. I
Okay.
would like to.
Yeah. Yep. So it's true. Yeah, it was a gift. And the last one, we can see the Great Wall of China from the moon. I'm not sure about this one. I know you can see it from space. So
Okay.
from apparently from space you can see it,
Hmm.
but I don't know about from the moon. That's a bit of a hard one.
Maybe it is too far away from the moon,
Maybe.
but it is very big, I believe, the Great
Yeah.
Wall.
Yeah. Maybe with a telescope you can see it. I don't know.
Yeah, you can sort of.
Yeah, make out.
Mm,
Okay. I say false.
yeah, I agree.
Okay. Juliana, tell us what you think. Yeah, I think it's too, the moon's too far away. But I do think from space that you can see it.
Hmm.
Okay, very good. All right, here we have a nice conversation between Josh and Jenny about visiting London. Okay, so Sean, do you want to be Josh and I can be Jenny?
Sure. So I'm going to London next week. Can you give me some advice on what to see there?
Yes, I was there last year. You must see Big Ben. It's really impressive. You should also visit St. Paul's Cathedral.
That sounds interesting.
And if you like modern art, you can go to the Tate Modern.
Thanks. Anything else I need to know about London?
Yes, you must remember that people drive on the left in England.
Yes, that last one is important.
Yes. So we've got a conversation about different things in London. This here, right, the clock tower is Big Ben, and it's the clock on the Houses of Parliament, on the British Parliament. Okay. Some other places, so St. Paul's Cathedral, a very beautiful and important church in London. And then you've got the Tate Modern, which is an art gallery, my favourite art gallery.
Oh,
Yeah, I love the Tate Modern. Okay, so let's look at some of the words in here. Maybe there are some interesting words or concepts in here. Tell us if you don't understand any of them and we can explain them. Okay. One thing, like I said at the beginning, can you give me some advice? Right. So advice is like a suggestion. Okay. Advice. It's a how would you define advice, Sean? I feel like you're better at defining these concepts than me. So advice is, yeah, if you give someone an idea to help them with something. All right. Got this word here as well, impressive. What does that mean? It's an adjective. Impressive. So it's an adjective, and when it's it's very striking. All right. If something is impressive, you look at it and think, "Wow, that is yeah, it's quite something." All right. Yeah, obviously people drive on the left in England. They also drive on the left in Australia. It's the same in Ireland, no, Sean?
yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
exactly the same in Ireland.
yeah. I
But
think it's,
here in Italy, it's the right. And also in America, I think, isn't it?
yeah, in America it's on the right as well. Yeah. What about in Brazil? Tell us in Brazil and El Salvador. Deanna's from El Salvador, Juliana, Brazil. We've got lots of South American. We've got a South American flavour. When I was in London, Juliana says, I saw an Indian monument that's so incredible and beautiful. Ah, I don't know what that is. That sounds interesting. One little thing, we say an Indian monument. Okay. Because, so remember when you use the article, if the word after it starts with a vowel, you use an. All right. So an apple, an egg, an umbrella. So a is when the first letter of the word after is a consonant. Very good though. It was a very accurate sentence otherwise.
And in Brazil, they drive on the right. Good to know in case I ever visit. I would love to go to Brazil. I think the nature is spectacular there, the
Yeah.
beaches.
Yeah, I love Brazil. I went to Brazil about 14 years ago, and it's one of my favorite countries. I think it's so beautiful. I really love
Where
it.
in Brazil did you go?
I went mainly in the south. So I was in Rio, Sao Paulo, went to Iguazu Falls, some islands. I went to the Amazon rainforest, and then some smaller towns in the south. Yeah, it was really amazing. Okay, let's go on. Okay, now we've got some interesting questions. The first question, what should Josh see in London? So maybe this is a new word, right? This should. All right. So, what is it's a good idea that Josh sees in London? All right. So, have a look at the dialogue. What does Jenny suggest? What does Jenny say are the best places to visit or see in London? Okay, so she says three. 3 places. What are the 3 places? I mentioned them before as well. Mhm. So, Sean, you've never been to London?
No, I would definitely love to see the Tate Modern and all the galleries in London, the National Gallery, the British Museum. It's got incredible culture
Yeah,
in London. Yeah,
yeah.
it's on my list.
I also think one of the best things about, one of the best things about London is that all of the galleries are free. So for the permanent exhibitions, you don't have to pay, which is quite unusual because often in other cities you must pay. Juliana's got another comment. Yeah, very good. You need to choose what you want to see. I agree, it's massive country. Okay. All right, so there's 3 places. Maybe we should write the answers. So, what should Josh see in London? There are 3 places: Big Ben, St Paul's, and Tate Modern. You must see Big Ben. You should visit St Paul's Cathedral. You can go to the Tate Modern. All right. What does, Sean, do you want to take this one?
Yeah, what does Josh need to be careful about? So, more of a warning than a suggestion. What did Jenny warn Josh about London is important? Is there anything else you need to be careful about in London, Danielle?
Maybe so crime, maybe people stealing your wallets or stealing your bags. That would be something. Also, cyclists can be quite aggressive.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, they can be quite aggressive.
Yeah. I think
Yeah.
maybe bring an umbrella.
Yes, and obviously it rains all the time. It sort of rains very lightly all the time, so you should be careful about the weather. The weather in Italy is much, much, much nicer.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's have a look. So we think it's that, So people drive on the left. Yeah. So cars are on the other side of the road. Okay, so what verbs does Jenny use to give advice? All right. So we've already spoken about these a little bit. There are some important words we use to give advice. All right. Maybe you haven't seen them before.
Very good, Juliana. If he needs to drive in the city, be careful.
Yeah, but also walking. If you're walking, you must be careful to look the right direction in case. Yeah. Okay, so what verbs? What are the words that they use to give advice? There are 1, 2, 3. So there's 3 different words that they use. See if you know them. Maybe you've seen some of them before, even if you don't understand them.
They're a bit different from normal verbs in that they go before a normal verb. They always come with another verb. They're not on their own. They're not an action per se.
Okay, keep writing if you're writing them to us, but I'll show you the answers so that we can move on. Okay, so must and should. So here, got must. You must see Big Ben. You must remember that people drive on the left. Or you should also visit St. Paul's Cathedral. Okay, so these are examples of advice, suggesting someone do something. All right, so must and should. Now, okay, so this is a nice slide. This has got lots of important information on it. Sean, do you want to read it for us?
Yes. So those verbs that we were looking at are modal verbs. So should and must, etc., are modal verbs. They are also called helping verbs. They give more information about the main verb in the sentence. So like I said, they come with a main verb and they give more information about the main verb. So for example, should is used to give advice. So you should visit St. Paul's Cathedral. So you visit St. Paul's Cathedral. This is a statement. It's something you do. To make it a piece of advice, you put should before visit. You should visit St. Paul's Cathedral. Modal verbs are always followed by the main verb in the infinitive. It's quite a simple form. It doesn't change for tense. So could, a polite way to ask and suggest something. You could rent a car. Can and can't used to talk about ability. Can you drive? Must used to give strong advice. You must see Big Ben. So when it comes to using these to give advice, like we saw in the previous slide, I would say must is very strong advice, should is strong advice, can or could is not very strong. It's just a suggestion.
Yeah.
So they have a similar meaning but different levels of intensity.
Yeah. So must, for example, at the moment in Italy, everyone must stay home. Yeah, it's a strong advice. It's a requirement. Can is much, or should. Okay, everyone should maybe wash their hands all the time. All right, as much as you can. So it's giving advice, but not as strong as must. Okay. Okay, so guys, this is a really important slide. This idea of modal verbs and these examples, this is just a little introduction to the topic of modal verbs. So as you move into higher levels at MyS, once your English improves to become very advanced, you look at modal verbs a lot. Okay, so this is just a little introduction. One of the things that Sean said that was very important. Right, so you have the modal verb and then you have the normal verb, and you have it as the base form. There's no to. So for example, you should go. All right, there's no to. You should go, you must go, you can go, you can't go. All right, that's how we use it. Okay, let's go on for a little bit. All right, now let's remember what these mean. So you can. Can means ability. So what can you do in Frankfurt, Paris, Amsterdam, London, your hometown? So what's possible to do? Then this question here, what can't you do in Frankfurt, Paris, Amsterdam, London, your hometown? So this is impossibility. What's it not possible to do? So tell us, if you write to us, tell us what you can do in one of those cities and what you can't do in one of those cities. Sean, do you want to do one as well?
So I have visited Paris. It's the only one on the list that I have. In Paris, you can go to very many museums. You can go to the Louvre. You can go to the Musée d'Orsay. You can go sightseeing. There's lots of sightseeing in Paris, and to sightsee is to visit the monuments of a city. So you can go sightseeing. You can't go to the beach in Paris. There is no beach. The sea is quite a distance away, so you can't go to the beach.
Okay, I can do one as well. All right, what can you do? In Amsterdam, you can cycle because everyone has a bike and everyone rides a bike. In London, you can go to lots and lots of bars and restaurants because there's many of them. There's lots to choose from. In terms of what can't you do? Okay, so in Frankfurt, you can't go to the beach because there's no beach. Okay. And in London, you can't ski. Okay, you can't go skiing. There are no ski slopes. Okay, we've got a good answer, Juliana. in my hometown. Don't know how to pronounce your hometown, but I can try. Curitiba. I don't know if that's correct. You can go in many parks, cinemas, museums, but you can't go to the mountain and you can't ski. Very good. Very good. There's just a few little things we would change. So after go, you use to. So you can go to many parks. Okay, you can go to many parks. And then at the end, you say you can't either, you can say go skiing or just ski. You can't go skiing or you can't ski. Very good. Excellent work.
So in my hometown, there's not very much you can do. You can go to the pub. There are 2 pubs, and you can go to the shop. There is a corner shop. They sell newspapers and things like that. And yeah, full stop. That's you can't you can't go to the cinema, you can't go to the museum, you can't do anything else. How
How
about your
far?
hometown?
Okay, so my hometown. You can go to the beach because there's beautiful beaches there. What can't you do? You can't visit very, very nice galleries and museums because we don't have, very interesting museums and galleries like in Europe, unfortunately. So, Sean, I've heard lots about your hometown over these webinars. How far away is the, closest big town or city?
Well, the town that we went to shop, to do the shopping and things like that, was not very big. It has about 1,000 people, and it's 40 minutes away.
Okay.
In Ireland, there aren't very many big towns. I mean, Dublin is 2 hours away, which is a city. And other than that, you would be going, I mean, an hour and a half to a slightly bigger town. The big towns in Ireland are all near Dublin. If you go
Okay.
far away, it's all 1,000
Oh,
people or less.
okay. I was curious. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it is a bit peculiar.
Does anyone know what city this is?
I think that's Frankfurt.
Okay.
I've thought about it a few times doing the focus.
Yeah, I think it is as well because the houses look quite German and it's a very financial, sort of very financial looking place with the big silver buildings, the skyscrapers, as Sean said before. Okay. So here we have some phrases to give advice. All right. So some, here they are here. Some are questions and some give advice. So it's like some are questions, some are answers. Sean, do you want to read them for us?
So how about, and very important, we have plus ing. So everything else plus infinitive, and for how about you have plus ing. Just be careful about that. What should I do? Why don't you? What do you think I should do? You could. What's your advice?
So You tell us. You have a look at these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lines. And tell us which are questions and which give advice. Juliana has a question for us though. So I can tell you, so my hometown, for Danielle, I can write this, Danielle's hometown is a city called Perth in Australia. Okay.
Yes, and my hometown is a village called Fina in Ireland.
So what are the different size places that you know while you're thinking about this? So I'm from a city, like Milan is a city. What's the next one down? You have a city, then it's a little bit smaller than a city. We said it before. I wonder if anyone knows. If you know, let us know. And then there's another.
Yes. I come from a village, and be careful not to call this a country, because in Italian, the word paese can mean a whole country, like Italy, or a village. In English, a country is Italy, France, Ireland, Australia, not a village. It's different.
Yeah. So you have a country, a city, a town, right? A town, and then a village. It's good to remember. It's good to remember those. My comments aren't loading. Okay, guys. So let us know which of these. Some of them you should know which are questions because I have a question mark at the end. No. So I'm sure you know some of them.
Giving the game away, Danielle.
All right, let's do the first one. All right. So it's a question. What should I do? You ask for advice. All right. Sean, what should I cook for dinner tonight? Yeah, well done. Well done, Juliana. Okay. Very good. Yeah. What do you think I should do? So these two here, they're the same. They mean the same thing. All right. It's just another way to say it. And is there another question in here? Juliana, Deanna, everyone else?
Yeah. There are 3 of you. Don't let Juliana answer everything.
Yeah. Well done. Yeah. What's your advice? Excellent. And so the others to give advice. How about, this is common. This is very common. We say this a lot. All right. So how about going for a run? All right. Well done, Juliana. You got all of them. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. How about having sushi for dinner? All right. The last two. Why don't you So this is specifically when you're talking about someone else, right? Why don't you go to Sardinia for summer? The beaches are beautiful. Why don't you go to Sardinia for summer? All right. And then you could, right? You could go to Sardinia for summer. One thing we should say, so for how about, you can have a verb with the ing, or you can have a noun. For example, how about having sushi for dinner? Or how about sushi for dinner? All right, it's two ways. Yeah, so this one's got a question.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Juliana, can you write again an example with how about? So I'll give one as well. So how about visiting Big Ben? How about Big Ben? How about Big Ben for the place we visit? So exactly like in Danielle's example, having or a noun.
All right. Do you guys at home want to write a suggestion to us? Give us some advice, okay? We want to visit your hometown
What
or
should
your
we do
home
next in the
city.
lesson?
Yeah. Okay, so how about, or why don't you, or you could, right? Give us some advice. We're going to visit your hometown. Tell us what to do. Right. For people that come to my city, I say, why don't you go to Rottnest, which is a small island off the coast. It's a beautiful island. What about going to Ireland, the country, Sean? What should I do?
Yes, I would say you should go to Connemara. It's a very beautiful region with really beautiful landscapes, and you should bring an umbrella.
Yes. Yeah.
Because it rains even more than in London.
Yeah.
But it's so beautiful that it's worth it, I believe.
The region that you said, where is that region? I don't know where that is.
Yeah, it's in the west. It's near the Atlantic coast. I come from the northwest. It's a bit further south than me, but it's near Galway. Have you heard of
Yeah.
Galway?
Yeah, I've been to Galway. Okay.
Mm.
Perfect.
Yeah, it's just around there, the countryside there.
Okay. Yeah, that is beautiful around there. I love Galway. I thought that was a great city or town. I don't know what it's called.
Mm.
Okay. Well, while you guys are writing your suggestions to us, okay, maybe we should skip this. I think this might be a little difficult because we can't show the resource cards. But maybe something we should talk about is how we use the word you. Okay. So in this slide here we go. Hang on. We'll look at Juliana's question first. I'm not sure I understand.
Maybe it's about how about. Is it common in Australia or Ireland? I think it's international. I think it's every dialect of English we use this really.
Yeah. It's everywhere. Everywhere in every country where people speak English, you can use that. Yeah, very good. Yeah, no, they're both good everywhere. Okay, you can use them. You can use them everywhere. Okay, very good question though. So in this slide, you can see we use the word you. What can you do in Frankfurt? What can't you do in Frankfurt? Now, in this context, you doesn't mean specifically you. It means people in general. All right. So in English, we say you. It can mean you as a person, or it can mean people in general. So this is, right, it's not personal to you. So for example, if you want to go to China, you need to fly. Okay, you need to take the plane to go to China. All right. Can you think of any other examples, Sean?
You can't go outside unnecessarily at this moment in Italy. It's not anyone specific, it's everyone in general.
Yeah, exactly. Right, so we use it a lot. Sort of a key part of our language. All right. So well done, guys. You finished. The most important things from today are these modal verbs. Should, shouldn't, could, must, can, can't. All right. Like we said, it's just a little introduction to these modal verbs that you will do lots of as you become, as you move up the levels at MyS. But they're good words to remember to give advice or to ask for advice. Okay. Well, I think we can leave it there then.
Yeah, I think so. It's nice to think about traveling at this time. Hopefully, it won't be too long.
Hopefully later this year we can do some trips. So thanks everyone for your participation. In particular,
thank you,
Juliana, you were fantastic.
Juliana. Yeah.
You were very